Good day, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My online nickname is Depth Charge, and the reasons that I chose this name I will reveal to you very shortly. I consider this to be my main channel, and being my main channel, I'm going to give myself the most freedom to discuss topics of the most variety. I have two other channels, Depth Charge Video Games and Depth Charge Math, and the topics you will see on those channels are, I think, self-explanatory, and the links are in the description. As you're watching this video, you're watching an episode of a TV show called Beast Wars Transformers. Beast Wars aired from 1996 to 1999 on Saturday mornings and has the distinction of being my favorite TV show of all time. The episode you are watching introduces Depth Charge, who transforms into a manta ray. He's not my favorite character in this show. I will reveal which character is my favorite in a future video. But he is the coolest looking character, in my opinion, with a fantastic, although short, character arc throughout his one and only season on the show. I will post plenty of videos, for instance, a series overview, episode reviews, etc., about Beast Wars in the future. The name Depth Charge refers to the anti-submarine warfare weapon used by ships, planes, and helicopters in order to damage and destroy submarines. Here's a short clip from a documentary about depth charges.
The pilot guided the service craft to the estimated position, marking it with 2 float lights. Here they attacked with depth charges.
There's a lot of planning and strategy that goes along with distributing these weapons in times of war. Another reason why I think this name is cool, to say the least. It was quite a brilliant move for the creative team at Hasbro to think of this as a name for one of their characters, and I'm very satisfied with this as my online pseudonym. While writing the script for this video, I actually discovered a made-for-TV movie called Depth Charge. It was made in 2008, which I should check out soon. You may be wondering which topics I will pick for future videos on this channel. I'm not forbidding myself from talking about video games, but since I have a separate channel completely devoted to video games, I won't be talking about that topic very much. The same goes for educational videos about math problems or other educational topics. I'll leave that to the Depth Charge Math channel. Any other topic is fair game for the Depth Charge Media channel, and I hope to tackle these topics head on. Some of my favorite genres of discussion are politics, pop culture, technology, and sports. Now I'd like to talk about my path and motivations to create a channel on a video publishing platform and post content. I have wanted to create videos and post my thoughts and opinions using a platform like this for well over a decade. Many different circumstances have prevented me from doing so, some legitimate and some not so legitimate. I have a full-time job outside of making videos, so this is a hobby. I have struggled with laziness over the years to pursue this hobby since I don't need to make content on the internet to sustain myself financially. Another reason I have been hesitant to make videos and post them is that I know once I start, I will need to continue to create content consistently if I want to build and maintain an audience. Some of my goals are to grow my audience as well as entertain and inspire others as they watch and listen to my videos. The content I post will hopefully be well organized and concise in its messaging and themes, and I do enjoy writing and speaking, so there's no time like the present to use these skills to speak on political matters, news and world events, and any other topics that are just begging to be talked about. There have been many instances over the years where something significant happens in my country, the United States, or around the world, and I've told myself, I am going to create videos. I'm going to create content and speak my mind on this topic or event. So many of these moments have occurred over the last decade or so that I'm sure I've forgotten some of them, but here are a few. When #Gamergate was all the talk amongst the media and YouTubers, I remember watching video after video, being fascinated by this developing story and how the two quote-unquote sides of the story were completely different in their claims as to what Gamergate was about. Another fascinating aspect of Gamergate is that it helped grow the reach and subscriber count for some content creators as they gave their takes and opinions on Gamergate and were critical of feminism. As I watched these videos, I was entertained by many of them, and I thought to myself that perhaps I could express my views and opinions on this and other matters in a public forum, like a video sharing platform. Staying with the theme of watching video after video on a topic, I remember when we were getting closer to the 2016 election, and I'll never forget that YouTubers and media personalities who normally don't talk politics gave their opinions about both candidates and who they were going to vote for. It was interesting to see them break from their normal content and turn to politics. This will most likely, if not definitely, happen again as we get closer to November of this year, and I plan to pay even closer attention to this as the closer and closer we get to November 3rd. Yet another event that got my blood boiling was the mass banning of Alex Jones from the internet. Jones was banned from YouTube, Apple, Facebook, Spotify, and Twitter all in 1 year, 2018. The justifications from commentators and analysts are some of the most disgusting nonsense I have ever seen. Here are two clips from Anna Kasparian's video on the Young Turks, making the case that it's perfectly fine that he was banned from these platforms.
We're living in a time when the constitutional protection of free speech is being exploited and purposely misunderstood by people with nefarious motives. At the same time, they use the First Amendment to paint themselves as victims after they pay the price of engaging in speech that isn't actually protected. Alex Jones is a perfect example of that. Jones is currently facing multiple defamation lawsuits due to unfounded claims he's made about people on his conspiracy shows. Believe it or not, people like Alex Jones actually take Alex Jones seriously. People who watch his show buy into his outlandishness. Some of them have even faced consequences for it, while Jones continues to spew his nonsense for profit. According to The Guardian, a Florida woman who believed that the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School was a hoax was sentenced to 5 months in prison for threatening the father of 6-year-old Noah Posner, one of the 20 young victims who died. Yeah. It turns out there are forms of speech that aren't protected by the First Amendment. Now, everyone knows, or at least everyone should know, that you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. And while hate speech is protected, defamation is not.
The compilation of Jones that TYT puts together later in Anna's video to justify his banning is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And this notion of Alex Jones's speech being equated with yelling fire in a crowded theater is absolutely outrageous. I've only shown a portion of Anna's video, and I did not show any of her examples of Jones's very passionate and legal speech, so please watch the entire thing. Link is below if you are inclined. I need to make a standalone video in the future about free speech, what exactly it is, and why the Young Turks and others are dead wrong as they justify the deplatforming of those who conveniently they disagree with. The next event I'd like to talk about is the fiasco in Washington, D.C., where the Covington Catholic boys, and specifically Nick Sandmann, were libeled and slandered by the media. It was truly a disgusting display of contempt and hate toward a group of kids that were waiting for their bus to take them home. What is the most frustrating of all for me in regards to this story is that there are many videos online, one of which is an hour and a half long, easily found, that clearly shows the full context of what happened on that day between the teenage boy and Nathan Phillips. So it wouldn't have required much effort by the members of the media to discover the truth of the matter as to what happened on that fateful day in early 2019. But they didn't put forth this effort. After seeing the media pundits and commentators question the integrity and downright trash a 16-year-old boy, I remember feeling a strong desire to combat misinformation like this using a video sharing platform like YouTube and Bitchute. Interestingly enough, July 24th, which was earlier this month, was Nick's 18th birthday, and he posted this tweet about the settlement that he received from the Washington Post. He also received a settlement from CNN, and the monetary values of these two lawsuits will most likely never be revealed to the public. So we can only imagine the millions and millions of dollars he deservedly is receiving from these pathetic excuses for media outlets. The tale of Greta Thunberg is a fascinating one, another news story that keeps bugging me, seemingly having a mind of its own as it tells me and prods me to respond to it. Never before in my life have I seen a child lifted to such a high pedestal and worshipped by the governments of the world and the media. She gave a speech at the United Nations and yelled, "How dare you?" and made the outrageous claim that her childhood has been stolen. And yet she received applause for literally yelling at a group of adults. And later in that year, she's awarded Time Magazine's 2019 Person of the Year. What a joke. There is no excuse for a teenager to be allowed to tour the world and lecture adults on anything. The adults should have stepped up and said no to this nonsense, and yet they failed. Finally, the event that can't be ignored in 2020 is the COVID-19 global pandemic, which first hit my country to its fullest extent in March. And as a result, we experienced something I never thought I would ever have to deal with in my life: a total shutdown of massive portions of the economy. We are still feeling the effects of this shutdown even now in July, such as mandates to practice social distancing and wear masks. I have a lot of opinions about our reactions to COVID, but I'm going to save that for a future video, specifically when it comes to the United States and the rest of the world's new obsession with masks. YouTube, Bitchute, and other video hosting platforms have transformed the way we consume entertainment and learn new things. I'm very thankful that I have the ability to post on these platforms and share my thoughts and opinions on the topics that interest me. I want to always be upfront and honest about my intentions and beliefs as I tell stories and share my views and perspectives. Since this is my first video, I won't be revealing everything about me, and I am confident you will learn more in the future. Here are some final things I'd like to share about me and my intentions for my 3 channels. I view this channel and the video game channel as sources of entertainment for the audience. I am not a journalist or reporter. My channel that is devoted to math problems will be strictly about education and the most focused of the 3. I hope to post a new video for each channel once a week. If I can do my math correctly, and I would certainly hope that I can, since I have an entire channel devoted to that subject, that is 3 videos per week, which will be a challenge, to say the least, since I do have a day job and video making is a hobby. My intention is to live up to these expectations that I have set for myself. Now, here are some guidelines that I will follow as I make content for my channels. I will never use profanity. The worst I will say is crap or pissed off. I will many times filter out profanity when I quote others, but I will not promise that I will always remove the profane and crude things that others say when quoting them. I will not be showing my face or reveal my full name at this point in any of my videos. That may change in the future, but that is the way it has to be for now. For those that choose to respond to me after I post videos, and I definitely hope that you do, please do not ask me to reveal these things and respect my wishes. I prefer depth charge on the internet, so that is the best name to use when addressing me. Speaking of responding to my videos, the comment section will be open for all of my videos, and I have no plans of ever forbidding comments. The ratings feature will always be turned on. Please express your opinions and views on my videos by choosing one. Be kind yet passionate in your views and ask lots of questions as the dialogue unfolds. Please don't call each other profane names, never dox anyone, and never threaten or harass each other or the people who I talk about in my videos. Now, speaking of harassment, harassment does not mean playfully poking fun at someone in a sarcastic manner or being critical of someone. By the way, everyone can and should be criticized and scrutinized, me included. Harassment is profane name-calling or spamming messages towards someone. I have no plans to block or ban anyone for participating in the comment section of my videos, but I will if someone does not abide by these guidelines. Please don't think that I want to ban anyone. I don't. I want people to have fun as they watch my videos and participate in the comment section, share ideas, and learn new things. I have created my own subreddit. The link is in the description, where I will post all my video links as soon as I upload them to YouTube and Bitchute. So please go to Reddit, create an account if you need to, join my subreddit, and participate in the discussions that will hopefully be inspired by my videos. The description of each of my videos is very important. There I will post references, sources, useful background information and context, as well as my contact information such as email address and Twitter account. Before I get to my closing thoughts and give a preview of what is to come on this channel, let's talk about sarcasm. If you read the description on my Twitter profile, which you definitely should and follow me on Twitter, you will see that I really like sarcasm. Actually, that's an understatement. I love sarcasm in a professional manner, of course. Sarcasm and wit, when done well, can hit a nerve just right and entertain so much better than laugh-out-loud comedy where there is a traditional setup and punchline. However, we need to be very careful when it comes to sarcasm. If sarcasm is interpreted incorrectly, especially when reading online posts, it can prove disastrous. I'm going to be very sarcastic as I write scripts and share my thoughts on the issues in my posted videos. Please keep in mind, as you're listening to me, that I don't express my sarcasm and passion with an intention to tear down. I want to build up. I use sarcasm for a number of reasons, not just because it's my favorite form of comedy, which is a topic I will cover in the future. Finally, allow me to give you a preview of what is to come on this channel. I wasn't going to focus on the coronavirus global pandemic so early in my video making career, but something literally just happened that inspired me to say to myself, I can't wait to talk about this. The NFL just announced that masks are going to be required to be worn in the stands by the fans as they are watching the games this upcoming season. This will definitely be a challenging topic for me to research and talk about, for sure. Next, I will be telling a personal story about something that I have accomplished, something that took me over 20 years to do. I've submitted this video on July 28th, 2020, and I plan to finish the next video by the following weekend, so stay tuned. This certainly was a long video for my first, so thank you for staying till the end. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I wish you well. Stay safe out there during these uncertain times, and be kind to each other.